What is up, guys? Eric here from EVM Productions. I'm back. I wanted to make a video about UFC 327, but what ended up happening is I got way too busy. I had new work, etc., and I was still recovering from my medical procedures and stuff. So I did have like zero time. Um, anyway, I'm gonna give you a reaction instead, and then I'll drop my predictions that I couldn't drop in time real quick. This card I did horribly because I did zero film study. And you know what? The only one fight that I really felt I could be wrong on because of a certain aspect of this person's game was the main event. It was the Olberg fight. I picked Yuri. Like most people, I think 99% of people picked Yuri. That's why everybody was upset with how the results ended up being. Oh, I just noticed that my is that? No, it's actually just my shadow. Yeah, it's just my shadow of my beard. I thought for a second, I was like, I didn't even need anything that was that color. But that's actually just that. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Yeah, I picked Yuri to win because there was too many holes that Olberg had that Yuri can capitalize on. And essentially in the fight, that was kind of the truth as well. Um, Yuri had him dead to rights because Ulberg's knee gave out on him, and Yuri, being a merciful person, didn't really jump on him in that moment. He gave him a chance. And the thing is, Yuri got clipped, and then he got slipped. He was out for one moment when he went down, then he woke up, and then he was out again while he was rolling over, trying to get away from the shots. He got tagged two times that put him out again. Now, thing that people will not point out about this is that is because of the weight cut. When I saw Yuri come out, I was like, he's very thin for this fight. Like, this was the first fight where I agree with Dricus Duplessis, which said, like, listen, he could make 185. He's very small for the division. Like, thin. It doesn't mean, wait, girthy. His girth is less than other light heavyweights. And I do agree on that. Um, what ended up happening is his body was a bit depleted. He was very sinewy and thin for this fight. And that what happens then is your brain doesn't get enough um, hydration and stuff. Meaning a light tap is like a bomb in comparison to usual how you usually perform and stuff. And funny enough, versus Khalil, he looked a little bit more filled out, a lot more filled out if you go rewatch that fight. Not by the giant, like the greatest amount, but still. Because of that, and him not jumping on Ulberg instantly, he lost the belt now. And I really do feel for him. However, I see a lot of people are like, nah, it's just his fight IQ is horrible and stuff like that. Meanwhile, they do not understand that if they're in that position, you feel really bad. You don't just attack this person and stuff. I might have done it, but it really would have depended because I would also be like, I really feel bad. I don't want to win this way. Um, yeah, but now Ulberg is the champion, and obviously, instantly I mentioned it. I was like, he's champ, but for how long? Because he's gonna need surgery on that knee, or whatever's going on. That's gonna be 8 9 months. That means 8 9 months. Then 8 week camp. That's almost a year. Like he's gonna be away for so long. So in that meantime, the division needs to move. Yuri just got clipped. He's not gonna fight in, let's say, maybe 3 or 4 months. So he gets 5 to 6 months if he doesn't spar and stuff in between to recover the brain. Maybe he rehydrates a bit better for this next fight, all that kind of stuff, and then he is ready for his next fight. And if he wins, he's back at the title instantly. Especially if we get the Ankalaev fight, for example, or I really can't think about anybody else in the division that I would want to see him against right now. But you get the point. You get the point. I think Gary will be back in that top five circle soon. Hopefully, this is not like the downfall of Yuri Proska in that way. Yeah, sad way to end this card, but well, I didn't watch all the fights because of the lack of sleep the last few days and how I worked a 15, I think it was a 15 to 17 hour shift on my feet. I sat down once for like split second. Because of that, I decided I was like, I'm gonna sleep through most of the fights. Like, there's many to pick, like the Aaron Pico fight, Kevin Holland, etc. But I didn't have the time just to wake up, and I didn't have the energy. And I'm not gonna do that because I have a severe chronic illness. I'm not gonna kill myself just because I'm a fan of the show. Well, the UFC. Sorry. Anyway, um, the Josh Hockett versus Curtis Blades fight was really fun. It was just a slugfest. It was violent swimming, like I described in another video about Deontay Wilder, but back and forth. And I was kind of shocked in a way that, like, to me, on a technical level, it looked like Blades was ahead actually, but I didn't watch the full fight. I came there mid-fight, so I didn't see the full picture. So I think maybe my view is blurred because I saw the last few rounds. To me, Curtis, because of the long arms and stuff, was doing well. But yeah, and then Paulo Costa's win versus Mr. Aramat. I called him Aramat. Um, and yeah, that was a really fun win. I know I picked against him. I was like, I think the Russian's going to take this because Costa has a bad habit of not locking in his fights. Like he'll lose focus and then fall behind. Um, and also the gassing thing. He started gassing as well in this fight, but then he came back and he got the KO. TKO, but they called it a KO. But anyway, um, yeah, I'm very happy for Costa because this was one of those fights where, like, please, I don't care if I'm wrong. It's just, I like Costa, and for years I've been saying, like, he just needs to lock in for certain fights. Like with Whittaker, he was fully outclassed. For Izzy, he got destroyed. But that's where his cap is. He is just below them, and he can actually compete with them if he does a few tactical switch ups. And yeah, the Marvin Vittori fight, he lost that because he didn't be as, like, he wasn't as active. I think with Sean Strickland, the same thing kind of. And also, he doesn't use his wrestling, which is actually his background. People don't know it. Even in this fight, I was like, ugh, why is he not using it? And then also, when he stood upright and got thrown, I was like, that was just such a rookie mistake. But I think he does his grappling, but he barely does it. Just being honest. Um, this was a fun card so far. I missed most of the other fights. I'm going to catch up on them. Also, Tyson Fury's fight versus Makhmudov. I'm going to say it horribly. A lot of people are complaining about that as well. That it wasn't that entertaining, good. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't, but it was kind of okay. It's just Tyson Fury looks like his legs are spent. And then him being so flabby at the midsection really hinders him. I think he thinks, okay, if I'm heavy, I'm going to hit hard. But it doesn't matter, really. It looked bad. And him being plonked in one place makes him look old. And now he wants to fight AJ. I'm like, that's a bad fight for him, in my opinion, right now. AJ looks better for his age and the stage of his career. What else? Vicente Luque beating Kelvin Gastelum. I was not shocked, just being honest. And I'll check over results and stuff. Point is, this was a fun card, except the end was so sad. I feel for Yuri, and I hope Yuri rather takes a little bit of a break, then gets back into camp and starts training, gets in shape again to let his brain rest. And then I hope he gets a strength and conditioning coach to work with him a little bit better, that he's heavy but still shredded, etc. for his fights, that where his chin is not compromised, because there's two things that happened with him: the weight, or the second one, his chin finally cracked because of the wars and stuff. And that is sad if that's the case, because then we're going to see a Tony Ferguson-esque decline in his career. Yeah, but then again, before the fight, way before this fight, I was like, Collis has a really crazy left hook, and his leg kicks is another thing that stifles Yuri. So I was like, that he can win by spamming leg kicks, jabbing, and then throwing left hooks and just staying away from Yuri while Yuri misses his shots and stuff. But I doubt that's how it would go, because he constantly got tagged in his previous fights. Like, there was a lot of video evidence that contradicted that he would be able to get away from Yuri. And he did. Yuri didn't really get his striking off, but then again, he also started the fight at a certain distance. That's another reason. And then also, Gary didn't jump on him when he needed to. However, we don't know if that would have worked because he might have gotten clipped in anyway. What if? Anyway, guys, this was a decent fight. Well, fight card. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm going to catch up on all of the shenanigans around this event because this one was a really fun one. And yeah, cheers.